Hey guys, today we will go over a Monster Hunter mod guide in which we will cover everything from installing all types of mods and their prerequisites, installing a Fluffy Mod Manager, and even improving the game's FPS with mods. So let's get into it. First, Google Monster Hunter Wilds Mods and open the NexusMods link. First, sign in or create a free account to download the mods and necessary software. Now let's first install some prerequisites. Scroll down to the More Mods section and sort by popular and all-time. You can also look for cool mods in the Trending tab. First, we will definitely need REFramework, which is a modding tool that also comes with some nice fixes and features like performance fixes, freecam, FOV changer, and more. To download it, go to Files and click Manual Download by the latest version. Always choose Slow Download. Once REFramework is downloaded, find it in your downloads and extract it using a free tool like WinRAR, or just use the default Extract All feature of Windows. Then, we will copy this D-input8 file. Leave this window open, and now in the Steam library, find Monster Hunter Wilds. Right-click on it, go into Manage, and click on Browse Local Files. This will open up the game's files so that we don't have to search for them in the Windows file system. Now, just paste the D-input8 file into here. If we now run Monster Hunter, you will see that this UI opens up, which can be closed and opened back up with the Insert key. You may have a smaller keyboard like me which doesn't have this key. For me, it was bound to Function plus Delete key. You can also use the Windows on-screen keyboard if you don't find it. We can now change this key in Configuration. I set it to Home, for example. As you can see, we can now, for example, enable or disable the vignette effect in camera. And also change the FOV. There are also settings to enable ultrawide monitor aspect ratio, hide GUI in the graphics menu, and my favorite, freecam. If you have good ideas and want to try to create your own mods, our sponsor, Boot.Dev, is here to help. Boot.Dev is the best way to learn back-end web development from start to finish using Python, Golang, and SQL. Learning to code can feel overwhelming, but the smartest way to do it is to make sure you're never bored. That way, you can actually stick with it long enough to reach your goals. Boot.Dev keeps learning engaging by focusing on what really matters, building real projects and writing real code. Because the only way to truly learn programming is by doing what actual developers do. All of Boot.Dev's content is free to read and watch in guest mode. But if you want to take your learning to the next level, a paid membership unlocks hands-on coding exercises, AI assistance, progress tracking, and even game mechanics that make learning fun and rewarding. They never want a student to feel like they aren't getting their money's worth, so they offer a 30-day no-questions-asked refund policy. Plus, every course has a free demo so you can try out the interactive experience before committing. Click the link in the description box and use my code GAMESTEED to get 25% off your first month or even your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Now, back to our mod guide. As you can see, we also now have more files in here. Most importantly, the REFramework folder, with folders to install scripts in the Autorun folder and plugins in the Plugins folder. Next up, we can install Cat Library, which is necessary for all of these mods, which you will likely use since they are from Ling Samuel, one of the most popular mod creators in this community. I will, for example, install Monster Hunter Wilds Overlay later, and skip intro logos. Also, always read descriptions on how to install these libraries or mods. So let's download this library the same way as the previous file. You will also get notified if you need any other mods for this mod to work. But as you can see, we already installed REFramework. Now let's repeat the process. Extract the Cat library in your downloads. All we have to do is to copy this _cat library folder and paste it in the games folder, but this time in the folder REFramework and into Autorun, since this is a script. You can also just copy the REFramework folder from here and paste it into the games folder. This method will just paste everything in the correct places inside of the existing REFramework folder. Now let's also try to install other two mods that I picked. So I will download MHWilds, which gives us more information in the game. But notice that this mod also requires REFramework D2D, so I will download that as well. And I will also get skip intro logos. I will delete previously installed files from the Downloads folder for more clarity. Let's extract all of these mods separately now, or just use extract each archive to separate folder if you are using WinRAR. Let's first install the required D2D mod for the overlay mod. You can just copy the REFramework folder and paste it into the games folder, and it will automatically copy the files to correct folders. Same process for the other two mods. Just copy the REFramework folders from each mod separately and paste them into the game's files, or copy the files separately like I have shown before. It should look like this now. If you get confused, just remember to check mods descriptions and read where to install the mods. If we try running the game now, you can see that I don't have the intro cutscene, and my game is displaying more information. In the REFramework menu, we can now also see settings for the newly installed mods. I can enable or disable them, or even set some settings for them, as for example, disabling the boss widget. Some of the mods use a different, easier method of installing. In that case, we will need Fluffy Mod Manager, but REFramework is still also required. The link will be in the description as it is actually made for Resident Evil 4 and harder to find. Alternatively, this mod that I will be installing, for example, Shop Tweaks, which is a must-have mod, has it in the description. I will also get a Big Kitty mod so that we will cover all types of mods. So download and extract the Fluffy Mod Manager. Then, copy and paste the whole Fluffy Mod Manager folder into the game's files. So, it should look like this. Now we can open it by running this modmanager.x file. You can also make a desktop shortcut by right-clicking on it, going into More Options, and clicking Send to and then Desktop. First time running the Fluffy Mod Manager, you will have to pick our game, so find Monster Hunter Wilds. Then it may not automatically find the game's files. What we can do is open the game's folder in Steam like before, like this, and then just copy the whole path to the game from the bar up here. Then we will click Choose the game's install folder in Fluffy Mod Manager and paste the path into here. Fluffy Mod Manager is now set up. Now let's download the Shop Tweaks and Big Kitty mod. Always read the mods descriptions to see if they can be installed this way. Let me delete other stuff for clarity. This time we don't even have to extract these downloaded mods. We can just drag and drop them into the Fluffy Mod Manager. Mods can be then installed, or rather enabled, by toggling this toggle bar. In the case of the Shop Tweaks mod, we can choose what variation of the mod we would want. You can launch the game from here or just normally. As you can see, the cat is now huge, and we have a way clearer shop menu. You may also find optimized mods, or rather configs, to boost the game's FPS by disabling some in-game effects. These configs can be installed by just downloading them, extracting them, and dragging them into the game's folder. As you can see, it replaced the previous config. The creator of the mods also says to make it read-only so that the game can't change its settings. So let's just do that. Right-click on it, go into Properties, and then toggle Read-Only. I had some issues with this config, I believe due to me having a different resolution of the screen, but if you use 1080p, it should probably work. Otherwise, what I found best to boost the game's FPS due to its poor optimization is to enable DLSS if you are using an NVIDIA graphics card RTX 2060 or newer, so also 3000, 4000, and 5000 series. Then you can experiment with the upscaling mode, sacrificing how crisp you want your game to look to boost frames per second. If you have solid FPS already, I would choose the Quality preset Otherwise, experiment with balanced or even performance presets. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card 4000 series or even the new 5000 series, you can even use frame generation, which will boost your FPS even more, but it may add some slight latency to the game. Using both of these options, I went from like 40 to 70 or even 80 FPS on the quality preset. If you are using an AMD graphics card, you can instead use FSR3, which also works really well, and you can again experiment with upscaling modes. I would also suggest playing without ray tracing, as it will kill your FPS even more unless you have a beast graphics card. Also, remember that you can disable the vignette effect in the REFramework menu. You can remove the installed settings config by just deleting the config file, and the game will reinstall it once you run it again. To remove Fluffy Mod Manager mods, you can just disable them in the Fluffy Mod Manager itself, or if you want to delete the whole thing, just delete the Fluffy Mod Manager folder. If you want to disable REFramework and its mods, what I like to do is to find the dinput8 file and just rename it to no dinput8, for example. Then it simply won't load. And when I want it back on, I just rename it back to dinput8. But to remove all of the mods from REFramework, you can delete this dinput8 file, the REFramework folder, and also files re2.cfg and re2.log. Mods are now completely gone. If you ever mess up and delete something important, you can recover the game to a playable state by finding it in the Steam library, right-clicking on it, going into Properties, and under Installed Files, click on Verify Integrity of Game Files. This will download any missing files, but will take a long time since the game is so big. And that is all for this short tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya!